There's a great day coming by and by, far above the sky, when the great Redeemer will descend to fetch